if it excites you, the possibilities, like, don't let the nervousness hold you back. If it excites you that it could be a possibility for you, that you might enjoy the freedom and the commitment, those voices in the back of your head that say you've never done this and you don't know what you're getting into, well, you might not, but just dive in and the support is there.
Hey, I'm Ty, founder of Preservan, and I'm really excited today to have one of our absolute best franchise owners in the organization here with us. Her name is Hillary. She is the owner of Preservan Birmingham. She got started just a little over a year ago, and it has been just a joy and an honor to watch her go from when we had our first call. She was, I think, listening to an audiobook while working at Costco, to today, where she is consistently one of the top 2 locations that we have in the organization. Welcome, Hillary. It's super exciting to have you here today.
Thanks, Ty. It's been an adventure.
It has been an adventure. So we'll get started. Before we hit record, we got to go back here because you were telling me about what is going on today in Birmingham. So what is your team right now out working on?
I have one technician working on a log cabin project today.
Okay.
It's a log cabin project. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a learning curve, and the people are so grateful
Yeah.
that we're out there because they couldn't find anybody to help
Yeah.
with this project. Basically, they thought they were going to have to take apart their whole house. It's an actual like Lincoln log style
Yeah.
log cabin, and the rot is at the bottom rung. And so, yeah, we're excited to be helping them, and they're super excited to have us out there. And my technician, Ben, is working on that project, and I'm excited to see some of his after pictures later.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. I'm going to check company cam here here in a little bit to follow along. So I do, just from this log cabin thing. We've done a few here in Oklahoma City, and you know, we think about log cabins. You kind of, a lot of times I think we think about Abraham Lincoln's house or something. But if you're not familiar with this, a lot of people, especially kind of more of a kind of a rural setting, will have these really beautiful log homes. I mean, they're not, and I don't know what this one looks like, but a lot of them that I've seen have been, beautiful homes. They're very unique. And if they have some rot, and we have to think like the log is the siding, it's the framing, it's the whole thing. And so when you have a portion of that that's rotting, it's like your whole house is rotting away, and getting somebody to fix it, just kind of this neighbor, this customer you're working for, had they tried to get it fixed prior to getting connected with Preservan Birmingham?
They had contacted some log restoration company and got a pretty outrageous quote, and they had done a lot of research about what was possible. But after coming across us in Preservan, they felt like, hey, this is like an option that
Yeah.
maybe doesn't require a new mortgage and, uh, like months and months and having to be out of the house. And
Right.
yeah, so they had done a lot of research and just felt like there was not a lot of options until they came across us and saw some of the photos from other locations that had worked on log cabins. And they felt pretty confident that it was the right solution for them. So
Yeah. So you were telling me, how much epoxy have you currently used at this project?
we're at about 19 gallons from the first day,
Golly.
and probably going to put on another 5 or so today.
Wow. And just for reference, a typical location is going to use about, what do you use, about 10 gallons a month? Is that kind of more of a standard thing?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in a really busy month with big
Right,
projects,
right.
we might do 20, maybe,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you use that on Friday.
Yeah.
So you're just talking about like these massive, like that just kind of goes to to describe these just massive voids that are in it. Do you
Yes.
know what
So,
caused the decay on the log? I mean, was there any kind of reason for it?
um, cause and effect. One area was, like satellite discs attached
Okay.
to kind of one whole side of a house,
Okay.
and I think those holes and then the drip that it was causing,
Mhm.
kinda caused the corners to rot out on that
Yeah.
side of the house, and then another section, just gets the weather really bad, and it was right under a window, so I think probably drip from the
Okay.
window coming down, and also, maybe you can help me out with the name of this, wood beetles? Is that the right
Like, what are
They
they?
have small holes, like, it
Carpenter
ate the
bees or whatever?
carpenter beetles, I think they're
Carpenter
called.
beetles? Okay, so, like, little, holes all in the area?
Little
Yeah.
holes all over, and apparently they like rotting wood,
Okay.
so it was already probably
Yeah.
rotting, and then they came in and just destroyed the whole interior of it. We found a lot of the little larvae not
Yeah.
alive because 'cause they've since started treating the house a couple of years ago. Um, but yeah, it was a combination of those 2 things that
That's just a wild project.
it really is.
Also, just to be on the day that we're going to have podcast interviews, that's really great. And it's just kind of I just love all the different places that we can repair. You know, a lot of times you see on the website, it's like all windows and doors, which is great stuff, but there's so much else out there that can be repaired. So uh, well, Hillary, that kind of took me off track because I'm just really obsessed with this job, and it's really cool. You know, one of the things that we want to do here today is really just as much as we can, kind of take a look back over the last year. I know you said it's been a wild ride, and talk about what has been some of our successes, some things we're most proud of, and also some of the things that have been the most challenging as a brand new business owner. And so, if you don't mind, just really quickly, give us just a brief, like, what were you doing before you became a Preservan franchise owner?
Mhm. Um, I was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years, and, during that time, did a lot of renovation projects on my own house, on some
Hmm.
investment projects, um, and just you mentioned briefly before that I was working at Costco, so I took a job kind of, as my kids were getting into the middle school age.
Yeah.
I thought it was time to get back into the work field, so I took a part-time morning job at Costco doing stocking, and, it was lovely. It was
Yeah.
a fun job, but I realized, like, "Oh, this is not what I wanted for long term." Um, and just listened to a lot of podcasts and
Yeah.
started getting interested in what kind of business could I run, and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so you know, and I'm guessing that when you got this thing, you know, you started thinking about what kind of business you could run. You probably weren't thinking about franchising necessarily, but you do have a close friend that is a franchise broker, and this is somebody who helps people kind of get into business. She was ultimately introduced you to us, but you know, from after being a franchisee, so you think about, you could have just gone and you could have done this all on your own, and you could have. You definitely, you could have started probably a remodeling company or something like that, and done some house flips or something. But ultimately, you went down this route with us here at Preservan. How how has it been being a franchisee? Like, how's that experience gone for you?
It's been amazing. You
Okay.
you mentioned, my friend, her name's Erin Grant, she's with, Power of Pluck, and we've been friends for 20 some years, and, in my kind of journey to figuring out what I was gonna do, in this next chapter of life, she kinda directed me towards, franchising, and it's been just I'm so grateful for that because one of the things that I was really struggling with in listening to all these podcasts was setting up the systems
Yeah.
and kind of, how to be productive and make it a profitable business because
Hmm.
I really do get, kind of into the weeds with projects
Huh?
that I work on, if that makes sense. I like
Yeah.
really dive into details and I want everything to be really perfect. And so speaking of that, like on a big project, there's so many aspects to kind of get interested in and start doing details on.
Mhm.
And so I really loved that Preservan has this really niche. All we're doing is wood rot repair with epoxy. That's it. And so having that structure, for one thing, has been amazing for me
Yeah.
because I really need that focus. Um, and then having all the systems set up since I've never run a business, I had no
Yeah.
idea even like how do I register an LLC? How do I get insurance? How do I do bookkeeping? How do I like all of the real um, business ownership type things or a struggle for me, and I just love having that support and so many people to bounce questions off of and ideas off of. And I was just on a call actually this morning with another owner, just kind of bouncing some ideas around
Yeah.
a project. So having that community of people that you can just ask questions and um, support each other has been really, really helpful. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing feedback, and it's really, I don't know. I get a little goosebumps here because it's exactly what I'd always hoped for. Because I found business in when I first started. I'll have probably by the time this episode comes out in January, I've been in business for 10 years now, and I found business ownership to be an incredibly lonely thing for about the first 7 years before franchises, right? Like because you know in your market everybody's a competitor, right? So yeah, and you can meet people and you can learn things and all of that, but in your market everybody's a competitor, and then you follow people on the internet, but everybody's selling you something. And so you're always kind of suspect of like a business coach or all of these other kind of things out there because you're just a, I mean, I hate to be, they offer great value, but a lot of times you're just money to them. And I had gotten this really great experience finding somebody doing the same thing as me in Orlando. They're currently one of our franchises as well. And I thought, man, this is a great relationship where I can just pick up the phone and I can call my friend who's doing the same thing as me in another area, and we could talk about how bad it sucks sometimes, and we could talk about how good it's going, and we could talk about employee challenges, and we can talk about insurance and all these things. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be a great thing if like I could selfishly just make myself a place where I spent all of my day talking to people who were on the same mission as me. So I would say that starting a franchise was completely selfish because I just wanted that. I just wanted to get on calls every day and talk to people who are out there trying to help their neighbors and fix houses. And that's what we have now. And you're doing such a phenomenal job at that. You kind of already led into this. I was going to ask, uh, from your perspective, how valuable has not just the systems been that the franchisor provides, but the community of franchisees. You already kind of shared a little bit, but do you have any additional things you could just share about that kind of overall community of Preservan?
Um, when we were first starting up, uh, we started a manager's kind of an owner's chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just even just from the very beginning, ordering products and
Uh
stuff,
huh.
being able to share that information with each other and kind of creating a community um of support and
Yeah.
friendship. Like it's been so helpful and it's been such a fun experience too. Like just having people that are on the same journey, like you were saying, um, to share the tips and tricks
Mm-hmm.
and the things that are not going well, and having somebody to, kinda blow off steam sometimes, and being there to support other people when they're struggling,
Yeah.
as much as we can. It's super.
Yeah, that's I think that's one of the largest values. And the other part of it too is that because we all have the same logo on our shirt or on our hat or on our vehicles, when one of us is successful, all of us are successful. And I think definitely in our organization, everybody gets that like uh I can be jealous that Preserving Birmingham is outperforming right now Preserving OKC and has for several months going now. I can be a little bit jealous of that, but also at the same time, I am just super excited. So it's just like I do want my location to get up there with you, but at the same time, I can also cheer for you along the way of so it just makes it so much more fun. It's something that Logan's talked about and Ben's talked about. So this is really great. Hillary, I mean, here's the thing though. I don't want to paint a picture of like it's all roses. It's all so easy. Being a business owner is hard. So let's look back over the last 18 months or so. What have been some of the hardest things that you've had to do as a new business owner?
Well, definitely letting someone go was very hard, uncomfortable. Uh, that was one of the most unpleasant things I've had to do as a business owner. I think, and maybe this is just a personal uh, kind of difficulty that I have when people are not happy with the work. I
Okay.
will not stop. I will not stop until they're excited. And some people are difficult.
Yeah.
Like some people are just not excited and they don't want to be excited. And I can't stop until they're like grateful
Yeah.
for the work that was done, having a good experience with us. So that might be something that I also need to work on,
Well,
like get off a little bit on that. But I just want people to love what we're doing and be
well,
excited about it and have
I
good
think it shows. I think when you look at, I think if you were to look at our top performing locations, there's a through line, and it's not professional experience. It's not whether or not they are great at doing the actual like epoxy repair themselves. I think it is people who are obsessed with delivering that high value repair, like, and it is. And I have driven almost every person who's ever worked with me or been a partner with me nuts, because like I just obsess over. I have this like feeling, which it sounds like you have it too, is that like if I break it, I bought it. And I remember this experience working in my dad's roofing company where we re-roofed a house, and it leaked. And I kind of told my dad, well, it's not really our fault it leaked. It was this and the this and the this. And it was like, we put our hands on it, we own it. And we will go out there and we will do everything that is within our power until it stops. And everything that was within our power was completely getting upside down in the roof over the long term. Because it was something that had nothing, actually, it had nothing to do with the roof, but we found out what it was and we delivered on that. And that has just stuck with me. Like, I just have this obsession that sounds like you
Mm.
have, of
Yeah.
like, if I put my hands on that house, I own the service, and I own that customer, our neighbor's satisfaction in it. And I take it very personally when they're not happy, even if it's not even my fault.
Yes, it sounds very similar. So
Yeah.
I will spend my Saturdays, I will spend my evenings out at the neighbor's house to get it to a point where I'm satisfied with it. And usually if I'm satisfied with it, they're good to go too, because I'm a little bit have some high expectations of myself and my team's work.
Well, I've read your reviews, or a lot of your reviews, and they speak to that. Your community notices and your neighbors notice. But I do want to go back to the thing that you mentioned before, is that, and this is something that I've talked with other owners about that have had to be in this position. I think all of business ownership you'll get in this position sometime. We definitely don't need to talk specifically about the person or the circumstance, but we can just talk through the process of having to let someone go. You know, how how long did you have in your mind that like maybe this wasn't the right fit, or was it something that came up more of like a quick character issue that you had to deal with, or was it kind of a long term thing that you were thinking about for a period of time?
So in that case, it was a new hire,
Okay.
and he was with us about a month,
Okay.
and, um, it didn't take too much in that case because of the advice that I had heard from you
Hmm.
about when you know, on new
Yeah.
hires. When you know, don't drag your feet,
Yeah.
um, and so I knew kinda probably in the first week. I
Okay.
dragged my feet a little bit, but, because of having the franchise, the experience of
Yeah.
everyone and you and having the kind of a coach, to help me
Right.
walk through that, I was able to take care of it pretty quickly, um, but it's
Well,
never fun.
no, it's not. And
No.
I think honestly, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, firing people's no problem for me, maybe, just maybe, this might not would be a great fit for you, because I look for people who probably are willing to make the hard decision but don't want to make hard decisions. Because I think we have a culture, and I hope we have a culture, we really value human life and human beings, and it's integrated into how we treat them and how we pay them. And there is a part of it which is sometimes people aren't just a good fit, and if they're not a great fit, they need to go find something in this world they'll be a great fit at. And the sooner we can recognize that, the more favor we're doing. The hard part is that I've had to do this unfortunately more times than I would have liked, and usually they're really mad at you because nobody wants to be let go, and letting people go is really hard.
He was a really great hire as far as, attitude and character, and so he didn't express anger, he was just sad.
Oh,
So,
oh, that's
great
those
friend.
are even worse. Those are
Yeah,
even worse when
that was
so let's talk about that, because I think what you're talking about here is probably one of the most important, I think, lessons that at least our new owners learn is when we talk about, like, you said he was great character, great attitude. What was the missing component that he had that just made it where you had to let him go?
it was just not having the eye,
Okay.
not being able to really see when something was done well and artistically.
Yeah.
And, I didn't just felt like that was not something I was gonna be able to teach after, a few weeks of, "Do you see this?" And he just really couldn't see it. He couldn't
Yeah.
see the design,
Right.
the lines and everything. So, yeah, it was really just like a technical issue
Yeah.
rather than anything to do with his person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is always unfortunate, and it is important, I think, in any kind of, like, service business where there is some, like, level you want your team, your technicians to have some detail orientation. Whether you're cleaning a house or you're doing an epoxy repair, you want to be able to see that it's right. And some of our personalities out there in this world just don't have that attention to detail. Uh, I am not great at it. I've managed it over the years, but it is one of those things that, combined with, we talk about this, combined with being afraid of heights. It's just things that, like, if you're afraid to get on a ladder over about 6 feet, like, there's not anything we can do to kind of help you overcome that.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did have a little bit of that too.
Oh yeah, that too.
A
Okay.
little bit of that too. Like, he was, like,
Yeah.
not in the interview, but in actual
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are hard things. Those are hard things to pull out in an interview. How do you know if somebody has, they're detail oriented or they're not afraid of heights? And it's hard to know. But let's
So
let's
that
talk about.
experience really taught me, though, that, like, I really do need to look for an artist
Yeah.
because he had some creative stuff, in his when he was talking to me about, but then as soon as I gave him anything creative to do, there was kind of a standstill. And
Gotcha.
so, yeah, I don't know, maybe really looking for the artwork that they do, their creative thing,
Their creative outlet.
folio, like, as part of the interview would be helpful.
It's funny how, and we have some amazing technicians, and none of them that I can recall have, like, art jobs necessarily, but many of them have art outlets. And so I could think of, we had this one technician, that phenomenal, one of our first, like, really great technicians, and he I was really impressed with his work, and I asked the owner, I was like, what is his backstory? And they're like, oh, he had a job servicing conveyor belts. And I'm like, that doesn't, I mean, that's great. And that shows to like his work ethic and that, but I was like, what's his other thing? I was like, dig in deeper. I'd like to know more. And they actually they sat down over a sandwich one day and they learned that he painted. This big dude that you used to drive a 1-ton fixing conveyor belts like to paint. And it was like we kind of learned that there are these, some people like they're doing a little bit of woodworking on the side, lathe and some bowls or other things. So here's what I'm gonna ask. You've got Ben. You were just talking about Ben, and Ben is out there doing this log home repair right now. What was Ben's? Does he have like art background or an art outlet?
Yeah, he does. So he does leather work. He makes
Okay.
wallets and belts and that kind of thing, just as a little side gig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is so. If you're listening to this, you're wondering like, what kind of people should I hire? We talk a lot about this in the Discovery about like, we use a predictive index and we have all these things that kind of help us get kind of an idea. But asking, what do you do in your free time? Do you have any kind of creative outlet? Is such a critical question because the folks that have said, oh no, I do woodworking or I do leather works or whatever, like that is a sign that you're probably going to get somebody really good, and this helps them exercise that creative outlet in a way that probably is providing them a more reliable income than what they do creatively.
The other fantastic thing that I think back on my interview with Ben, he wanted to see the truck. He wanted to
Okay.
see how it was organized,
Yeah.
like what he could do to create systems of better organization, and he has implemented that. Like
That's
his
awesome.
truck is so organized and perfect. Yeah,
Well,
that's interesting.
Ben sounds like so our Ben is Scott. Scott had a background when I hired him. He was he like put together things at a casino, and when I really started to dig in, I kind of started to understand, oh no, he was like they would come up with like some sort of like promotional design, and Scott's job was to like create that promotional design. And he is obsessive about the organization of his truck, like obsessive about it, and that's always a good sign that you've got a good fit. That's really great stuff. Well, let's switch gears here. So those are your challenges. Challenge was, of course, letting people go when you have to, and then the other is being a perfectionist, which that sounds like something you can work on. We say perfect is the enemy of good. You're doing a great job. So
I love that saying. I try to. That's a little bit of a mantra for me.
yeah, right. You just gotta like say it to yourself all the time, right? But when you look back over this last year, this last 18 months, what have been the things that your team or you have done that you're the most proud of?
That's a harder one for me.
Yeah.
What are we most? I think sticking with those tricky neighbors, the
Yep.
ones that are hard to please.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a job that we've had to walk away from. There have been a few jobs that we've been upside down on
Uh-huh.
because we won't walk away.
Right.
But I think execution, like
Yeah.
actually, if we say we're gonna do a job, we're gonna do that job and we're gonna get it done to the best of our ability. And I think that the whole team, both my techs and myself, are on board with that. That we're in this to have a good outcome and to serve our community, and the outcome of that, of serving our community and serving our neighbors and doing the best work that we can, will be continued work and will be profitability. But those are not the goals. The first goal is really serving and doing a good job at what we do.
I will say that like you're living proof of that when you lead with that as your goal, not top line revenue, not profit. When you lead with, no, I'm just going to go out here and I'm going to do an amazing job for my community, for my neighbors, and I'm going to do an amazing job by my technicians, by my employees. The result is revenue. The result is profitability. That's not the goal. That's the result of hitting the goal of doing amazing work. And so I just love that perspective, and it's the right perspective to have in this business or in any other business. If you focus on serving the people you are called to serve, you will get the financial reward that you're looking for. Uh,
Kind of along those lines too, thinking about finding best solutions for all the people that we're going out and doing assessments for, because we're such a niche business and not really known well what we do,
right.
how we do it. A lot of what we do is education,
Yeah.
and a lot of assessments I go on, I'm just giving referrals to the appropriate people in the community that can help. And I think that drives business too, because then people are they trust us that we're going to do what's the right solution for them, rather than, and they'll give our name to the next person. And so even if we were not doing the work on their house, like creating that trust in the community has been really helpful too, I think, for our business, for keeping the wheel going.
Yeah. I was
So,
going to ask because, when you shared your background, nothing in your background was sales or customer service. I mean, uh, that wasn't your background, but you've done well at it. Speak a little bit more to that, because I think that a lot of people say, I don't know if I can be a business owner because I'm not good at sales. I remember somebody else about 18 months ago
yeah.
telling me the same thing. Uh, how have you, I mean, you obviously get sales because you get jobs, but how have you looked at that differently than maybe I think a lot of people think about sales when you're out there meeting your neighbors and giving quotes and selling them jobs?
hmm I I really don't even think about the jobs that I close as selling them something. Like,
Okay.
it's just not even in my mind frame to think, "I'm gonna go close this. I'm gonna get this person to give us money." Like, it's not a part of my thought process at all. Really, I just go into each situation trying to figure out if we're the best solution. Are we the best solution? Because if we're the best solution, it will sell itself. And if we're not, then who can help them? Because a lot of times people feel really stuck. Like the log cabin people, for example,
Yeah.
or people that have a whole house full of windows that's $150,000. Are we the best solution? And if we're not, like, what resources can I give them for other options? And
Yeah.
and even just being like, I can't help you with this particular project. Here's somebody who can. And if you need to talk over their quote with somebody, give me a call. Happy to talk through, because I love windows, or, what, just that.
Right.
I love talking houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people take me up on that. Like, I get
Yeah.
phone calls about, "Hey, what do you think of this quote, that quote," from other jobs that we're not actually even putting a quote on.
Yeah. That I think that is just such a missing thing. It definitely is somebody who, we're all consumers in this day and age. I so often, especially on things that like my house or my business or these things that are big investments for me, I don't want to be sold. I want to be educated. It just gets so overwhelming as a homeowner to you've got something, I've got a 100-year-old house and I call somebody out, the thing that's on my mind right now is my plumbing, right? I call somebody out and I just immediately feel like I'm in a sales process and to your point, someone's trying to close me. Uh, and their focus is just like, how big can we make this project? How big can we make it? Can we, and all of that stuff is just like incredibly stressful. Like you want to dig up my entire backyard. You want me to spend like we're talking about, this is going to cost 10% of my home value. All of this stuff I have to borrow. Like all this stuff is so overwhelming. And it's not that it might not be the best decision, but I feel like a lot of times people aren't, like people aren't being shown other options. And then when somebody comes out to my house and says, "Hey, no, actually, we can reroute it this way and we can do this, and it's not a forever fix, but it's going to get you 5 to 7 years. And I'm like, well, right now where I'm at in my life, I need 5 to 7 years of not digging up my backyard. Like that's what I need, And I think that that's such an important thing. And I think that once again, people listening, I want you really to pick up on that, because educational based sales, specifically in home maintenance, home repair. If you want to close jobs, educate people. Like that's and be willing to tell somebody we're not the great fit. We're not a great fit for this. There's a better option over here. So we've covered what's been hard, and we've covered what you're most proud of, and I love that you're most proud of working for the difficult folks, working for of course, don't say their names, don't say the difficult neighbors' names, but I think people listen like, well, what does it look like to work for somebody difficult? What makes a job difficult to be on? You obviously not all of your jobs have been difficult. You've had a handful of them, and everybody does in every business. Kind of give us an idea of what a difficult job looks like, and kind of how you have to navigate through those.
Mhm. So, a few examples. We had one of our very first jobs last fall. We had our first glass breakage, and so navigating, like finding the glass company that we could get replacement glass for these specific windows from. Um, and then unfortunately another glass broke when we went to replace the first one, a different
Huh?
window, had broken over the weekend, like just, but we worked on that window. And so that was ours as well. And so, you know, this process went on for about 2 months, I think, of trying, and then the glass company broke the window, and so the neighbor was obviously getting a little bit frustrated. Uh, you know, it takes 2 weeks to get the glass in, bring that one back, another one's broken, another 2 weeks, the glass company breaks that one, another 2 weeks, and the homeowner was getting a little bit frustrated. It was over Thanksgiving and
Mm-hmm.
Christmas and New Year's, and finally wrapped it up, after the holidays. And they were frustrated with us. And obviously, I was frustrated. We spent a lot of time, and it was a long ways away, an hour each direction. So a lot of back and forth trips. And in the end, the customer just was like, "Oh, I think you forgot to give me a discount on this for my inconvenience."
Gosh.
For my inconvenience,
I
I was
remember
like,
this call. Now that you're telling me this story, I remember this
"You're
call
right.
about
Yeah,
the
I did.
discount.
Why don't you
Yes.
just pay me exactly whatever you think that it was worth?"
That was your response. Just why don't you pay me whatever you think it was worth?
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Did they pay you less than you invoiced when you said that? Yeah.
Yeah, I lost some money on that one. And I
Yeah.
know not all business owners would probably say that, like, they might have, the argument with the, neighbor about, "Well, this is what I'm in for, and, these are out of our control, the glass company breaking the glass," and, you know, to me, it just wasn't, worth having any kind of conflict about it. And I think it goes back to the thought of, like, if we do the job well,
Mhm.
and we do the best that we can do, maybe this job we're not going to make money, but going forward, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. We met we made this relationship with that glass company that we've been very close with over the past year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
turned into, like, referrals, right? Like, the glass
yeah,
company.
they give
Yeah.
us a lot of business. We give them a lot of business. And it's been a great relationship there. Those people, even though, they were frustrated and we didn't make any money off of them, they have given, referrals to others in their neighborhood, to the
So they've
place where
referred
they
you,
work.
so they've
Yeah,
continued to refer. Well,
they
there you
do.
go.
They do. So, that was a difficult one. And another one was an elderly lady that just was on her own in a huge, beautiful house and had this kind of recurring problem for the past 15 years of rotting windows that had been replaced. They rotted again. And it was a little bit out of scope taking on her project. Um, I kind of I worked with the glass company on that one, and I worked with a handyman on that one as well to do the handyman did some framing and drywall, the glass company did glass stuff, we did
Hmm.
rot repair, and, the neighbor was just kind of nervous. She was just nervous. She didn't trust people, and even, when I went and, uh to originally to do the assessment, I felt like, "Hey, this is way out of scope for us." Like,
Yeah.
there is rot, but, I mean, there's framing that needs to be done, there's other stuff, and I would have to kind of navigate other people in this process, which that is probably the maybe one of 2 projects that I've done this year where I had to do that, like, really kinda navigate working with multiple other contractors. Um, but when I left there that after that first assessment, she cried. She was like, "You're the first person that I feel like I can trust to work on this."
Yeah.
And, so I did it, and it was challenging, and she was very nervous, just keeping her kind of calm and, keeping her involved in the process as much as she wanted to be and keeping her calm. Yeah. It was a lot of hand-holding in that one.
Yeah.
It was it was hard, but
Those jobs are hard, and and that is something that I face often in home service is that it's not always females, but a lot of times it's a widow who feels very nervous about being taken advantage of by contractors, and it is once again kind of going back to when you put yourself in a different mindset where you're not trying to have an extractive relationship with that homeowner, where you're there to offer value first, right? Like, I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to offer value. And if
mhm,
my value can be my service, then I'm happy to perform. I'm happy to do that. But if my value is not my service and it's somebody else's, I'm happy to, as much as I can, share what I know and share who I know. And I think that that is such a different, it's a mindset shift that we ask, all of our franchise owners to have, and we look for in the people who are joining, because I don't, you can look across all of our owners. We don't have anybody that typically comes to us like, no, I was the best salesman at my ABC job. Like, that's not who a lot of times a Preservan owner is. Because I think that there's enough extraction in this world, and people need value added to them, and just kind of focus on that, which you're doing a phenomenal job of that. And that goes to speak that, just you could have an incredibly difficult job and a person that underpays, uh but in hindsight, was it worth it? In hindsight, was it worth it to, both for you personally, but even maybe financially? Can you look back at that difficult job and say, I got paid back what I lost?
definitely, and just having the experience of, that those things can happen and learning how we can try to mitigate them and what solutions are, and learning about that neighborhood because 'cause we've had other jobs in that neighborhood that
Yeah,
are, uh it's particular to that neighborhood that these windows are very fragile, and so we learned a lot, and yeah, I think it's
yeah,
paid off. It's paid,
yeah.
it's fine.
Right.
It is what
Well,
it
and
is.
you've gotten referrals, you've got this relationship, you've got the experience.
Mhm.
I don't know what else you could ask for
Yeah,
other than a full payment, but you take your wins where you can get them, right?
right. I was
Uh,
actually thinking about that, elderly neighbor this morning that I was doing my Christmas baking and, thinking, "I need to go check on her, like,
yeah,
see how everything's going." I'll probably take her some little Christmas baking and say, "Sorry about that,"
you could.
and, just see how the repairs are holding up and see how she's doing.
That's well, if you're listening and you want to know how to be successful at Preservin, I mean, quite literally everything that Hillary has shared is great things to implement in both, whether it's a Preservin or something else. Like, this is the right position to put yourself in as a business owner, to be out there to serve others. Uh, Hillary, as you look ahead, I don't want to say goals. You can share goals if you want, but just like, when you look ahead to the next this next year, 2026, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to accomplishing with your team this year?
I'm not a huge forward thinker.
Yeah,
I like staying in the moment.
yeah.
I think keep on doing the same, like just getting it done. If we got work, let's get it done. As
I
long
have to say that is also quite possibly some of the best advice. I think we can all live too far out ahead. We
I'm
can,
always interested to hear the other owners talking about their big plans and they've got these huge goals and doing it's just not me.
yeah.
It's just not a part of my mindset that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and really I'm gonna get the jobs done that are on the calendar and try to get work for my techs as much as possible and keep doing it like the best work that we can do and taking care of our neighbors.
I like I said, I love it. I love it because I think that, like I said, I think that goals are great. I don't want to take anything away from goals, but so is living in the moment. There's a book by, and I'm going to forget the guy's name. But it's called Archibald's Next Big Thing. It's a children's book. The author of it is Tony Hale, who was on Arrested Development as Buster. But in the book, he writes this story. He wrote it for his children, I believe, about how Archibald is always talking about what his next thing ahead of him is, what his next thing ahead. He's always looking forward to the future, and that it tells a lesson of just like realizing that live in the moment because you'll realize that like you're already at your next big thing. You're already there, and when you look at goodness, Hillary setting here like goals be damned, looking back a year ago, you've lived in the moment almost this entire year, and but then look at, I don't think if you would have put this as a goal, this is where you would have been. You would have, because
I
you wouldn't
remember
have.
talking about goals at our conference back in February,
Yeah.
and y'all were talking these big goals, and I
Uh-huh.
was "Mm,
Yeah.
if I could just hit this much revenue, I'd be really happy," and
And
we've
you've exceeded that. You've exceeded that.
blown it out of the water.
And
Yeah.
but the entire time you've lived in the moment, you've lived, and that is the key. Setting goals is good, having an idea where you're going is great, but then living in the moment day to day, doing great work, cuz consistency beats strategy
Yeah.
every single time. Consistency wins. So great job on that.
Following up on that funny conversation I had in one of our validation calls,
Yeah.
with another new owner, and, talking about what my day-to-day is like and
Uh-huh.
trying to answer questions, and this is a big planner person,
Uh-huh.
and, I don't know all the numbers, and I don't know I don't know, all the P&L numbers and the this number and that, like, I I have a bookkeeper and I have y'all, and we talk about those things, and that's helpful,
Uh-huh.
but at the end of the validation call, he was like, "Do you need some help with your business?" And I thought, "Well, no, because 'cause I'm just gonna keep doing the work that's in front of me and trust in the process."
There you go. There you go. Well,
Yeah.
keep doing it because you're doing incredible. Uh, if you had one piece of advice, you might have already given it, but if you have one piece of advice for somebody listening to this today who's thinking about Preservan or business ownership in general, what would be your advice for them?
I think that if it excites you, the possibilities, like, don't let the nervousness hold you back.
Yeah, yeah,
If it excites you that it could be a possibility for you, that, you might enjoy the freedom and the commitment,
hmm
um, then those voices in the back of your head that say you've never done this and you don't know what you're getting into, well, you might not, but just dive in and the support is there.
yeah, yeah. Hillary, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time away from your very busy day and your very cool project you're working on. So thanks for making time for us.
Thanks, Ty.
Later.